Welcome to the Determined Man podcast, where we help men become better versions of themselves and discover their life's purpose. Join us as we unlock the power of discipline and what it means to be determined. Remember, stay consistent, build the discipline, feed the motivation. Hey everyone, Zach here. Thank you so much for joining me. I am pumped and excited to be starting this new year off with you. Guys, are you tired of failing the New Year's resolutions? Are you tired of feeling like you've underachieved? That belief that you could be doing and accomplishing more? Have you already started to fail your 2024 New Year's resolutions? Have you even started? Have you missed a workout? Have you missed some checkpoints along the way? Guys, I am here to tell you that it is not too late. I am here to be an accountability partner for you. I'm here to build a community where we can help ourselves become the next better version of ourselves, guys. And that is the purpose of the Determined Man podcast, to become better versions of ourselves. We're not only going to do that, we're going to become leaders. We're going to become leaders in our community. We're going to become leaders in our relationships. We're going to become leaders in our workplace. We're going to become leaders in life. And we're not only just going to become leaders, we're going to become leaders of leaders. We're going to do that by mastering discipline and learning what it means to be determined, to have that resolve, to have a long-term goal and accomplish those goals. Guys, there's going to be a couple ways that we discuss things throughout this podcast that are going to help us get there. The first and foremost is fitness. Fitness is the foundation. I have a lot of stories to talk about fitness, and I can't wait to get into that. And the second one is not going to just be fitness of the body, it's fitness of the mind. We're going to do that through education. We're going to do that through reading. We're going to read different books every month, and we're going to discuss them. Got to grow the mind as well, right? And then the other one is going to be, social interactions, stories, some that I bring, some that you will submit and bring. We can talk about it, right? Figuring out our moral compass, figuring out the right and wrong of different situations and how we handle different social interactions. So guys, I'm super excited for it. The purpose of this podcast is, again, like I said, is to make us become better versions of ourselves, become leaders in life, master discipline, and learn what it means to be determined. Guys, a little bit about me and why I wanted to start this podcast. In 2023, really December of 2022, I hopped on a body fat scale thing, and it said I was 30% body fat and I was 215 pounds. And although I thought I was in okay shape and I was meeting the standards and all this other stuff, I was lying to myself, right? Throughout my whole life, I've kind of been able to get by. I've been a really good communicator. I've been really good social skills, talk to people, get along with a lot of people. I've always been in decent shape, never really had to work hard for any of that kind of stuff. And because of that, I had slipped every year, less and less and less, right? I wasn't leading by example anymore. I was becoming complacent. And on top of that, it was starting to affect, not even just my physical health. I think it was also affecting, my mental health and my focus on things and my desire, right? Like just like the motivation, and kind of figuring out what my purpose is. And so I decided to make a change. In January 2023, I started New Year, New Me, and I went crazy with it. Guys, I lost 45 pounds in about 4 or 5 months, went from 30% body fat down to 14% body fat. And I just scratched the tip of learning what it means to be disciplined. And it has changed my life completely. On top of that, I started doing like little monthly challenges, right? Like I did a whole month of no social media. I did a whole month of no sugar sweets. The whole last year, I haven't had any soda, any fast food for a whole year. And I'm actually continuing that. I went 2.5 months with no alcohol. I'm actually starting another goal with that. So we'll talk about those things. But guys, I just decided, I needed to make a change. And we're going to talk about this in the future about it's got to be something deep down inside, right? There's motivation. It comes and goes. There's intrinsic, extrinsic, internal, external, right? You're going to want it. You're going to need it. But also there's other things that can help you, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to build a community where we can help each other. We can make each other better. I think a lot of stuff started changing in 2020, COVID. And that's one of the things that, I noticed. I'm been a leader in my community. I've been a president of a nonprofit. I've been on multiple HOA boards. I know how some of us feel about HOA. Trust me, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've really noticed a difference since 2020 in trying to build relationships and building community. And so that's one of the things I want to kind of unpack and learn. And like I said, I've been really good with social skills and getting along with people, but that's just been through like my personal skills, but I've never really learned or educated myself, right? So again, that goes back to why I'm going to start reading books. We're going to start reading books. We're going to discuss it. We're going to make ourselves better. But guys, that's a little bit about me, a little bit about why I want to start this podcast. I'm super pumped about it. I've been talking about this for a while. I wanted to start one last year, right? But I feel like I had to get my life in line, focus it up. I feel like I'm at this point now where I can start sharing some things that I've learned along the way and continue to develop and continue to build. Guys, the structure of this podcast, okay? So right now, how we're starting it, it's going to be weekly episodes, going to be released on Sundays, and it's going to have 3 major rotating themes, right? Like I kind of already went through them. The first one's going to be fitness. Fitness is the foundation, okay? So we're going to talk about different things that I've done along my journey, and then eventually, we'll talk about some other things, bring some people on and stuff like that. But fitness is the foundation. We're going to change our lives. I have a whole document, change your life in 1 year, right? It's definitely doable. Those people that used to say, just start, right? I used to hate those people. I'm like, it's not that easy. It really is that easy. And guys, fitness unlocks everything. There's tons of podcasts. There's tons of stuff out there that talk about it. I'm going to be another one of those, right? I'm going to talk about, I've drank that Kool-Aid. I am on board with the fitness. Guys, the second one is we're going to be reading books. I am reading a book every month. You can see right here, the book I'm reading right now is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Guys, the plan for the podcast is I'm going to tell us all what book we're reading. I'm going to discuss the book once a month, where I'm at with it. If I'm done with it, I'm going to recap it. If I'm in between, we're going to discuss what I'm learning, the lessons I'm learning, how I'm applying them in my life. If you guys have read those books, I want you to interact and tell me those stories of things that you've learned. So that's one of the episodes we're going to have once a month. The other one is going to be a more interesting one. It's going to be about our social interactions, our moral compass, things that come up in our daily lives, right? So it's going to start with some stories that I'm going to bring from work, from my life, and how we handle those, right? Because I think, you can learn a lot through fitness, you can learn a lot through books, but the real world is where it has to be applied, right? And bringing real world situations and stories, I think is going to help a lot of people. And it doesn't have to be crazy stories, right? Like you look at a lot of these books and a lot of these big podcasts and things like that, they talk about some crazy stories. Most of us are normal people. I'm a normal person, right? Like normal situations happen. How do you handle a disagreement at work? How do you handle a neighbor who you want to be more friends with, better friends with, but you don't? It may be maybe there's a barrier there, right? We're going to discuss all those things on that episode. So that's 3 weeks, right, out of the month. We're going to be doing those episodes. And then the fourth, eventually we're going to add this. It's going to be interviews. We're going to be bringing other people on, other podcasters, other people with different motivation and things like that. So we're definitely going to be bringing guests on and super excited about that. So that's going to be the structure. We're going to have around 10-minute episodes for the start. The interviews are obviously going to be a lot longer. But these other ones are going to be quick little things, hip pocket things that you can hopefully remember and take with you to help accomplish your goals and help you become more disciplined and become a leader. Guys, again, I want to thank you for clicking on this podcast, for joining me. I'm super excited. Follow me on all the socials. You'll see it all in the links and all that stuff. I definitely want to build a community, want to be engaged. And to end it here, I want to tell you guys my 2024 goals so you guys can hold me accountable as well. Number 1, guys, I'm going dry all of 2024. I'm not drinking any alcohol. I'm super excited about this one. I cannot wait to tackle this one. The second one is going to be one of my hardest ones, but we just kind of talked about it, so maybe it's good. I'm going to be reading a book once a month, but I'm not only just reading it. I'm going to be annotating, taking notes, highlighting, and then journaling about what I've read. The third one's a fitness one. I am going to run the Marine Corps half marathon, and I am going to run the Marine Corps full marathon. Now, I ran a half marathon like 13 years ago. I feel like I could do that tomorrow. I'm in decent shape now. I can do it. I am nervous about the full marathon. The good thing, guys, is I have until October to train for it and get ready for it. So that's an exciting one. And the last one is kind of just, it's not really I don't want to say an important goal, but something I want to accomplish is get to 10% body fat. So we'll talk all about that in the fitness episode. Guys, again, thank you so much for clicking on this episode. My name's Zach. I'm super excited that you're on this journey with me. Guys, go out there and get after it. I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.